Let's turn all our plates on and we'll take a look at another option here, which is ink limit. This is actually probably the most important one you're going to see here. Now, what this is, it's a composite of all the inks here. Now, if you think of solid cyan as 100% cyan, solid magenta is 100% magenta, etc., etc., you'd have 400% ink. You cannot print with 400% ink. It'll look like mud. So you go to your commercial printer and you speak to them and you say, what is your ink limit? And they'll say 280%, 300%. If you're doing something like newsprint, which actually acts like blotting paper, you might get something like 220%. We don't want a lot of ink because it just turns into mud when we print it. So you've got to find out what your ink limit is, and then you can come to your separations preview, look at the ink limit, and pop in the figure here. Now they've got presets here, but you can just type in any number you want. If I go to 300%, you can see what happens is it changes. If I go up to 360, which no printer's going to tell you to do, you're going to see that there are absolutely no errors on the page. So let's set it back to 280 here, and you can see that we've got errors in these images here. Down here we've got just too much ink. So you've got to correct that before it goes to press. Now, I'll be honest, if I see a few little errors like this in the beans here, I might say, well, I can get away with this, but it would do no harm to fix it correct and get it correct. Let's go over to the master page and take a look at this big error here. I've got this sidebar here. Notice it's different than the other one because I created it especially for this movie. And here I've got a black. And if I go in here, you can see our percentages are just way too high, close to 250. And although it looks black, it would certainly appear different than other blacks. So I could just back all these off here, or alternatively just delete this black and replace it with standard black. Oops, I hit cancel instead of OK there. I'll do that again. Just clicking OK. Therefore, it doesn't show up as an error. However, let's go up to page 1 where we've got this distinct problem here. And there we have this pepper image. And if I close this up, you can actually go through, and as you hover over it, if I want you to look over here, as I'm hovering over with the mouse, you can see what our percentages are as we move in there. So this is certainly something you'd want to correct, and what you would do is go back, edit with Photoshop, open it in Photoshop, and there I've got my info box up here. Here I can see the ink percentages over here, and then I'd want to do some changes here. It's really beyond the scope of this tutorial and how to do it, but VTC has some excellent Photoshop tutorials where you'd be able to find out how to reduce the black in this as well. So I'm going to just accept the error in this particular case, switch back to InDesign, and I can say if my ink limit's 340, I've got a generous printer here. I don't have any problems in this particular document. But I think you'll find that this ink limit is one of the most practical solutions for pre-flighting your documents and avoiding errors when it goes to press.